And it's now about a week after that last shot, and I've done a few little bits and pieces on this, on the Chinook. And first thing to do is look at the panel sides here. As you can see, I've just done a little bit of pre-shading and graduation on the grey on the side, and then the highlights or the details that I added at the rear, I've given that a coat of steel, the Vallejo steel, giving it some little bit of brushed highlights and painted one or two wires just to make them a little bit stand out just that little bit more. I've still got more work to do on these panels. There's like first aid boxes and stuff going in there, so I've got to continue with that, put some decals in there as well. Interesting, had a discussion around the use of the word decals, and I'll come back to that. This is the other side, much the same as the other one, and again done a bit of pre-shading and shading around the grey sides and the detail panel here. This is at the rear door, and then adding on to that, going further, the cockpit, oh, nearly dropped it. The detail bits that I added in there, the whole cockpit got a dark grey coat, and then I picked out one or two bits and pieces in behind the instrument panel in the cockpit, but I found that a lot of reference photographs, it's not a lot of colour there, but yeah, so that's that. Obviously I've added in the seats, and they're the decal seat belts for our harnesses that come in the kit. Also the overhead instrument, I don't know if you quite see that, instrument console has been put in, and that got painted, dry brushed, and some of the detail highlighted. And then the decals in the kit for the instruments, they're pretty simple, but I think by the time everything's all put together, you're not going to really see too much of it, but I've just made one or two little adjustments to it. And the other thing that I've done so far is the floor of the passenger area, as it were, or the goods area, and some graded, looking at some of the reference photographs, it's sort of an odd colour, greys and dirt and everything else. This has just had a bit of a gloss coat, and then I'll do some weathering on it, but that's as far as I've got at this time. A little bit more progress for the next video. So the passenger car compartment has now been weathered. I'm quite happy with the way that's come out. You see the colours, the odd grey. I used a Vallejo pin wash just to work along the runners and the guides, and in the various catches, and then a Flory weathering wash of sort of a dirty brown colour, just to give the idea, the hint there of the remnants of the boots and stuff. And I think that's come out quite well. I'm quite pleased with that, actually. Next bit is to do the sides. So the two sides were given similar treatment as the base, really. Only I didn't do so much in terms of dirt. So just, added some wash onto the rear section here, and a little bit of wash along here, having first added all of these decals. Same with the other side, same sort of thing really, just added a bit of a wash with the decals. The only difference being is usually you put a wash on after the decals. What I did here was the first aid boxes and the instructions there. I didn't put a wash on until, well, I put a wash on first and then put the decals on. I felt that the first aid boxes might have been a lot cleaner, so I didn't really want to get an emphasis of dirt in there. But then, right, that's the side. So the next section now, with this, is to add the seats. Now the seats I've pre-painted. And they're sitting in this little storage container. I don't know where this came from actually. Might have been out of the supermarket or something. But these are the seats, and what I wanted to do with the seats, they're actually a sort of red colour. But again, I didn't really want it to be like sort of bright pillar box red, that sort of thing. So I took it down a shade and really took it into almost a brown. And then the harnesses, again, they're bright yellow, or I thought looked a little bit too bright. But picking these out was quite difficult. It's quite a rounded mould, and there was a time when I was thinking about actually sanding all of this off and putting new straps on, using either strips of plastic card or Tamiya tape or something like that. But then I thought most of the view you get of these seats is down the side of the Chinook from the outside, and you're not really going to see too much of it, so it's there just to give an impression, I think. But the next stage is to put all of this together along with the roof section and see where we get to next.